To fall is inevitable. To rise is a choice. Let me say that one more time. To fall is inevitable. To rise is a choice. It says in Micah 7, verse 8, do not rejoice over me, O my enemy. Though I fall, I will rise. Though I dwell in darkness, the Lord is a light for me. So though I fall, hi, love. Though I fall, I will rise. Now, this saying came to me today as I went into a cafe, and I've been to this cafe a couple of times, and the Lord has sort of like guided me to this man that was working there, who seemed to be the similar age as me. And we got into conversation, and I did recognize that he had gone through something, for sure, physically speaking, and probably had had an accident the same way I had, just maybe in a different way than I had. But it was apparent that he did fall at one point and he did rise at some point because he chose to be a servant and to work there. So we got into this conversation, and it was so interesting because it led us into conversing over what we had gone through, and what sorts of accidents we'd gone through, how we had fallen, and how we had risen. And he asked me for my Instagram, and I got his. And in his bio, basically, it said to fall is an accident and to rise is a choice. And it just like moved me, and his whole story moved me because I believe 16, he had a skiing accident where he basically fell with his head on ice, and he went into, I believe, coma or whatever it was. I don't know what it's called in English, but basically he was not awake for 2 months. And when he woke up again after that, um, he had to learn and relearn everything, and his left side of his body couldn't properly move and still can't, but he has made improvements. He chose to rise again, and he said something very interesting to me, which was that the couple of months before, he basically was training for this contest or whatever it was. And he got to know that he didn't end up coming at the first team, but at the second team, he was playing sports. And it really, like, made him sort of fall, but in a mental way. But he then decided to climb up again. He decided to get back on his feet and train even more, and to really just go for it. And then the accident happened shortly after that. But he said to me something very interesting, which was that mentality that he had just before the accident, it stayed with him, right? That mentality of rising being a choice, it stayed with him even during and after the accident and during the recovery. And so the message here, using his story and using my story, because I also have been in an accident, is truly that it is a choice, and that the work that you're doing mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, these are ways in which we can prepare ourselves to better handle whatever life brings us, because none of us will ever know what is around the corner. And that's a beautiful thing, because God knows our plan. We don't know our plan, but definitely, for sure, it is a choice what it is that you do with whatever experiences you have in life, and how you take what you've experienced and help other people with it. That you speak your story, that you share your story, and that you turn it around for good, that you allow God to take what you've experienced and turn it around for good, for the benefit of all, or for the benefit of at least somebody. And it was just so beautiful to hear how basically this experience of his has completely turned his life around in so many ways. Also in the way that he now look upon other people, that he now sees people in such a, profound way, that he really truly cheers people on. And that basically he said that no matter what kind of person you meet, no matter whom you meet in your day to day, just make sure that you meet them, that you see them, right? That you sort of bring your light to them in whatever way you can, because you never know what they've gone through. You never know what someone's sitting in right now. You never know what kind of fall that they have endured or that they are currently enduring. And by you being an example of rising up and making it about more than just yourself rising, that you make it about you rising to honor God, that He's given you the life force to still be here after all, that you do it for the benefit of more people. That is just so important. That is just so important to embrace and to incorporate and integrate into our being. And that's one thing too. Even though that, yes, falls are inevitable and many people fall, not everyone choose to rise. Not everyone choose to take the fall and integrate it and reflect on the fall and reflect on the teachings and reflect on the lessons and really go deep with it. To go deep into the lessons and to sit with it and to work on it. And I've seen this time and time again. I have several friends who have endured a lot of different falls. I have another friend, Seaman, and he both endured a fire as a child and his entire body caught on fire. And he also went through the terror attack in Norway at Utøya. And I remember his story so well too. And he's such a great friend and also just an inspiration for so many people, because he's used these different falls to rise and to bring other people with him in the rise. This is where the power is at, because not only do you heal other people through sharing your story and how you've risen up and giving that sense of inspiration and allowing God to speak through you. That's literally what is happening. Not only are you helping others, but inevitably and inadvertently, through sharing that, through speaking, through loving, because that's what it is, you also feel that love. You also heal again. You also integrate the lessons so much deeper. So it's very interesting to me how today God put this person in front of me and really just had me converse with him in this way to get to know his story and to really again remind me of the power of your story and the power of rising when you fall, because that is inevitable. And I think it's important that we surround ourselves with people that have or are going through the same fall that we might go through, or that are on the rise, that are choosing to rise. Because as we, surround ourselves with that, and as we trust God to lead us toward those types of people, those types of conversations, and we say yes to that, and we lean in, and we stay open, and we dare to ask powerful questions and vulnerable questions, and we dare to be vulnerable ourselves with our story, it's just, it changes you. It changes your heart. It really alters something inside of you that opens you up to experience more of this reality and the beauty of it. So that is the message today. To fall is inevitable, to rise is a choice. And like it says in scripture, though I fall, I will rise. See, I will rise. It's inevitable that you will rise. And though you dwell in darkness sometimes, literal darkness, the Lord is light for me. The Lord is a light for me. God is the light that is flowing through us and to us at all times. And it just becomes so much more kind of apparent and visible when you see it come through conversations and through people, because that's what I really know to be true. It's that God puts people in front of you and speaks to you in ways that it moves you. It's as if time stands still, and you can be that person for somebody. You can be the person that speaks life into other people. And you never know who's around the corner that seeks to listen to you, who needs to hear the strength that comes through you. So all you got to do is to say yes to rise, and yes to share the rise with others, and to invite other people to rise with you, to bloom again with you. There is nothing that you can't rise from, truly. So reflect upon that. What is it that you're to rise from right now? Where can you choose to rise? Because it is a choice. If I could rise from the inevitable heartbreaks that I've been through, the accident that I've been through, if I could rise from months of recovery, if the guy that I met today in the cafe, if he could rise from months and years of basically being in coma and having to retrain everything from eating to drinking to walking to talking, if he could do that, we can rise from whatever it is that we are growing through. It all ends up being about faith. He said it to me. He was like, I had faith. I had faith in myself. I had faith in God. I had faith that there was a purpose to this. And when you have that sense of faith, you can endure anything that comes your way. And you can turn it around. You can allow God to turn it around for the better, for the good of all. And that is what I am aiming to do now with this community that I'm basically starting and initiating, for people to come together, to rise together, to not let the fall be the end all be all, because it is inevitable, but to allow and to see that you get to have, and you do have, a choice to rise. And you're so much stronger when you allow yourself to be in and around other people that are also choosing that, because it's inspiring to the soul that is here right now within you. So that's it for today. You can go to bloombeyond.com/waitlist to join the waitlist to come into this garden community. And I will see you tomorrow. And we'll see what the Lord brings into my life. Until tomorrow, maybe there's going to be another conversation or another person that inspires something to share here. It's just about staying open to it. Sending so much love.